You can even raise $1 million during the first day and your campaign can die. There are so many cases. Pre-launch activities, these pre-campaign activities, let's call it like that, is not only for the hitting the campaign, but collecting the right insights where you can grow your campaign. Because at the end of the day, the final result matters, right?
You are watching the Creator Chronicles. Hi, I'm Artur Papikan, and this is where we break down the silent mistakes that are happening through the different stages of a crowdfunding campaign. Founders often think that the market will adapt to their product, but in crowdfunding it's vice versa. In crowdfunding is the product that meets the market with the right audience, with the right price, with the right positioning. And to dive deeper into this, today we have crowdfunding and e-commerce expert, also Chief Operating Officer at TCF, Norayr with us. Norayr, based on your experience, how do all these metrics, price positioning, audience metrics affect the pre-launch stage of a campaign and its success? And how do creators often meet their problems when the campaign is launched?
Yeah, thanks for inviting. Actually, there are three main components of the success of the crowdfunding campaign. The first one is the product, obviously, like how good it is and how big of a problem it solves for the customers. The second one is the product positioning, messaging, and overall execution, how to reach to the audience. And the third one is the product price. And by the way, by saying product price, I don't mean like having low product price, because it's misconception that the lower to go, the better. But there are so many cases that we even had bigger success while increasing the product price, because especially for the premium category products. So each component needs to be perfected to have bigger success for the crowdfunding.
So how are these components interconnected? For example, if a creator has a great product with great features, but the pricing is not so good enough, for example, it's low enough, how are you understanding that, first of all, it's not high enough?
Yeah, very importantly, no one can guess. Like no one can know what is the right price for the product. We can guess, we can do research, of course, compare to the competitors, understand what's the approximate price that it can work. But no one can really know what's the right product price. And it's very important to run effective tests to see what is the like price that market reacts the best. So it's important to run the tests before the crowdfunding launch, because finding out that the price was not good during the crowdfunding stage can lead you to total failure. But you can run all these test activities prior to campaign launch.
So if you are running a pre-launch stage campaign and you see that the metrics of a price are not so good, how are you understanding that the problem is the price, or, for example, the positioning is not right for the price that you are like offering for the product?
Yeah, very great question. There are a couple of things that need to be done simultaneously or during some time. Like, we are running multiple A/B tests to understand what is the right price, like what are the metrics of the conversions. Also, we are surveying and then interviewing our customers to understand their behavior, what was their behavior behind making a decision to buy or not to buy the product. But at the same time, we are testing different positionings for the same product to see which are increasing the interest towards the product, but at the same time, what are the positioning that is converting with each specific price point. So by running several tests, several A, B, C, D, and so on tests, we are able to identify what is the best positioning for the product that is performing the best with that specific price.
So the strategy you already make with the price that's confirmed that is good, and coming back to the positioning, how are you defining the positioning if the results are not so good? For example, what are the signs that you are getting from the audience, and most importantly, how you are getting these signs?
Crowdfunding in general, marketing is all about tests and all about hypothesis that is being tested, right? So the first thing is obviously to come up with a hypothesis, and you are doing your research to understand what is the right, what can be the potential potential positionings for this product, and having uh, having the knowledge and of the audience overall, and having the experience, you are coming up to a couple of positioning ideas. Then you are starting running tests to understand what was your initial hypothesis, how they are performing. After running this first stage of the validation, we are going deep into the data and talking with the customers. By saying talking, I mean we are surveying the customers, surveying people who sign up for the product, also who reserved, and we are also interviewing them by running AI interviews with the customers, collecting all this data, and we start to analyze to come up with the further hypothesis. What can be our next test? What can be the next positioning, right? So we are coming up to 2-3 different other hypotheses based on the actual results that we already got, and then running another round and another round until we find the one who is hitting all the benchmarks. And we see that with this positioning and with this price, if we launch, like, it's going to be a 7-figure campaign.
So does it matter if my product is a high ticket product or a low ticket but mass product in terms of understanding the metrics of success?
It sometimes does, sometimes not. So having a niche product, for example, the metrics should be treated differently. If the product is a niche market one, most probably it's going to have very high metrics coming from the niche market. But if the market is small at the same time, so it can be niche but not quite big one, it's limiting the campaign potential if it's small. And there is vice versa. Like, for example, very recently we launched successfully and raised over $2.5 million for one of our products that was very niche market, but the market itself was quite big. It's code project. Yeah, but at the same time, for the high ticket products, yeah, this applies if the product price is low. So if you are launching a low ticket product in a very niche market, you need to understand what is the potential size of the market and how scalable it is. Because at the end of the day, it's about scalability, how scalable your project can be, your product can be to have success in crowdfunding. But if we are launching a high ticket product, let's say $2,000 product, even if it is a niche market, having a 7-figure campaign is quite doable. If the product itself is doing well and all the metrics shows that it is like people like it. So the idea is, if you are launching a high ticket product, even if it is not a mass market product, the metrics itself can be different because you don't have a high scaling need in that high ticket product to have $1 million campaign, let's say. But if, like, you are launching a $100 product and it's still niche, This means you need to have additional tests to understand how scalable the product itself and how big is the market for this specific product.
When you already have the results of a certain campaign, how long are these results valid for to go to the market?
We try to launch the campaign as closer to the validation as possible, because the market changes. Currently, it's quite dynamic market. We are living in quite dynamic market. There are a lot of categories that are not changing that dramatically, but there are some products that the market is changing quite fast. For example, the smart glasses. There was a very high trend in crowdfunding last year, and a lot of projects launched very successfully, and we launched one of the most successful ones. And later the market dropped, so a lot of brands started producing smart glasses, and you can find pretty much similar features smart glasses everywhere, and it was a hype around that. So if you compare the metrics and you find an interesting metrics and launch the product not in the right time, you would lose your market, and the metrics won't be valid. But there are a lot of cases that the metrics can wait. Let's call it like that. But yeah, we try to launch the project as closer to the validation as possible, not to miss the right time.
By saying validation, when can we say that the product is already validated and we can go? What are the main metrics and benchmarks that you are paying attention to say, okay, we are ready to hit the button?
It's about reaching people, like how many people we reached via our ads, and how many people visited the page. So there is a sample size that we need to reach to have enough data to see how it performs, and we can compare to the overall metrics and understand its potential. And we consider it's done when we hit that specific numbers in terms of reach and in terms of visits of the page.
And if a creator has already done their own lead generation or validation, and they represent you numbers that are pretty good enough to go without doing extra validation, how is this being accepted in terms of like doing it another way with different platform and having different benchmarks?
It's all about the methodology. If they use the exact same methodology or pretty much similar methodology that we are doing, it's doable to go over their data and understand what is the performance. In reality, I hardly remember a case where I got the data from a third party and noticed similar methodology is being used, and that the metrics represent the real results. So in most of the cases, we might need some additional work to bring the data to a level we can make a decision. But in general, like if the methodology is done correctly, it's pretty okay to make a decision based on that as well.
Yeah. In a lot of cases, creators think that this pre-launch validation is being done to hit the first stage of a campaign to raise exact amount or hit their goal. Going a bit from different angle of this conversation, if the campaign is launched and it already hit the goal, can these benchmarks also guide you through the left part of the campaign?
Obviously, because hitting the campaign goal is good, but it's never enough. Like you can even raise $1 million during the first day, and your campaign can die. There are so many cases. The pre-launch activities, this pre-campaign activities, let's call it like that, is not only for the hitting the campaign, but collecting the right insights that where you can grow your campaign. Because at the end of the day, the final result it matters, right? And if you are just focusing everything, like putting everything for the first day, you are missing the rest of the 40 days of raising extra money and increasing your campaign potential to higher level, right? So pre-launch activities gives us data about the product itself, like what people like, what they don't like, and if possible, like our partners sometimes adjust the product so it's more suitable for the audience, like they like the product more. It's about the product price, what was the right one. It's about the positioning and the messaging that we are using. It's about the audience whom we are targeting. And by collecting all this data, all this information, we are able to be more ready for the campaign, and the strategy that we are using for the campaign should be adjusted accordingly. There is a big misconception that all the projects are a replication of the other projects, but I want to say that it's not true, because every project is quite different from one to another. Of course, there are some stuff that are very common, and based on the experience, you are already you are using the best practices. But all the strategies being written and perfected based on the information and based on the data that you are collecting. And yeah, as I mentioned, the pre-launch activities helps you to launch the campaign successfully, hit the goal and hit high numbers during the first day, which is again very important. But the information, the data that is being collected, I would call it more important in terms of long-term results for the entire campaign and also for the future of the product, however it goes.
So if campaign is launched based on the real validation and metrics were good, so they hit their goals, and now like in the mid part of campaign, founders understand that they need more. Can they start another validation, we can say, or another testing to quickly understand where else they can position their products to hit more?
It's all about, again, marketing is all about coming up with hypotheses and testing. So during the campaign, of course, more and more and more hypotheses are being like we are coming up and testing and going to the successful direction. So during the campaign, obviously, more tests need to be done, and after the campaign as well, and throughout the entire brand's life, the new tests need to be done. New ideas should be validated, and people need to move forward based on the best performing ones. What we do during the campaign. Just want to clarify, the pre-launch stage gives you enough data to be on the right direction and not to lose very important and very, short, high value time of the live campaign, because the live campaign, live stage is limited, right? And every day is extremely valuable, and not to lose that time, and you are focusing on the things that you know are already working. But at the same time, finding new audiences, finding new messagings, finding new people who would potentially buy your product and become your customer is ongoing process. So during the campaign, what we do, we continue surveying and then interviewing our customers. We continue engaging with the customers. We are bringing these people to WhatsApp communities, where our WhatsApp community managers individually talk with these customers, collecting extra insights, understanding something very unique that is common through our audiences, and coming up to new hypotheses. And by the way, it's not about again changing the positioning or the messaging, but it's about how you target the audience, how what are the visuals to use, for example, in your ads. What are the communication style need to be maybe changed for some specific audiences to enlarge the potential and enlarge the audience whom you are targeting, and increasing the conversion rates.
Thank you very much, Norayr. And we have a tradition in our podcast, so we have a question left for you from our previous guest. If you were a creator, what would be the main thing that you would pay attention while creating the product?
Wow, very great question, and at the same time very hard question. It's all about the understanding your market. So you need to pay attention what problem you are solving for the customers and how big of a problem it is. So I would first thing I would pay attention is to understand how big is the problem that I'm going to solve, and how good is my product, how better my product solves the problem compared to whatever alternatives there are in the market.
Okay. And now the turn is yours to pose a question for our next guest.
All right. So my question is, besides the main metrics that are subscription rate and reservation rate, what are the other metrics that the creators are missing to pay attention to?
And the last thing that's left for you is to give a big advice to all of our creators.
Yeah, my advice is the preparation is the key for the success of the crowdfunding. So don't underestimate the preparation period and focus only on mainly on the crowdfunding stage, because the success of the campaign is being defined much earlier than you hit the launch button.
Okay, thank you very much, Norayr, for being our guest tonight. It was a wonderful conversation with you. And if you have any further questions, make sure to drop those in the comment section. Also, don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. Thank you.